Okay, so if you just join in, you are right on time. This is Today with John and Helen, and it's your wholesome family show on Plus TV Africa. And by the way, always, I'm Helen Ongma Adeleye. Well, Pharaoh Shonuga is our host on the lifestyle segment. She's on the show later today. So also is Ima Ata and Dolly. They're all standing by to bring their game, to the show at the appropriate time. But before we hit the road dissecting for your pleasure this morning, anger and anger management, let's take a very quick look at some happenings or some things that we may have observed going back and forth in town within the week, John.
Going back and forth?
Yeah.
Or the lack of it?
Going through our various businesses.
Now you can't go back and forth on Eco Bridge.
The fire in Akpogbo. And Akpogbo is so central to the lives of everybody in Lagos.
It's not just that we have a fire or had a fire in Akpogbo. It's the fact that we could even allow, commercial houses, stores and all of that to be located at that place.
That would be a Herculean task for this government.
No, but there's been...
to effect a change. Yes, I know that there is...
Yeah, they've pronounced that all such...
giving 7 days notice or 12 days notice.
Be pulled down. But
well, let's see.
How on earth in the first
come
place? I don't know, especially in Lagos.
But the truth of the matter is, John, there is no part, very few areas in Lagos now that is either solely residential or entirely commercialized. Everything now is into and town planning and all of that comes to question.
Well, that's what jumps to my mind readily, of course. And then the recent news about the loss, of our dear professor of mathematics education, Professor Grace Alele Williams. That's another Amazon gone. Well, I think she's done. She put in a lot.
She did.
She really did a lot for us in this country.
She pulled a lot of the women, from where we were for a long time. And, never thinking that a woman could rise up to that. She was number one.
And we will all dearly miss her. So our condolences to everyone.
And something else I'd like to bring the attention of a lot of Lagosians. Yesterday I was at a party. Going was bad. The length and breadth of Third Mainland was like no movement for up to like 4 or 5 hours. There was a car that was burning midway. So that could be explained. But coming back, 6, 7-ish, 8, 10, another 4 hours. And it's Lagos, so you can explain it. Traffic, not expected, anything can happen. But the absence of not one single security person. And the Third Mainland it wasn't so beautifully lit. And then you still, at that point in time, had the boys who were selling chips, who were selling water, selling all kinds of things. And to me, they were not really just selling. And the absence of security operatives, I had my mouth...
It's mind-boggling.
I had my mouth in my where?
Yeah, it's mind-boggling because I actually expected that the traffic situation would become chaotic after the Akpogbo incident.
So that...
Because a lot of people now it means that our traffic
that was the only
flow
gateway.
Is impeded, compromised. So a lot of pressure has now moved to Third Mainland. But let's see how the traffic agency would cope with it.
So if Akpogbo is still shut down and Third Mainland will be the only route, please, let's have security presence, please.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. Okay. So, Helen, moving straight on. It's time to welcome to the studio, yet again, a very dependable and reliable friend of the house, Excel Adeleye-Samuel, a professional counselor and a chartered mediator. He is founder, Walmart Behavioral Science and Mental Care College, and co-founder, Walmart Counseling and Coaching Company.
I guess it's also the initiator of We Do You Well Foundation. I'd like to know how well this foundation does for us. Adeleye-Samuel is already seated with us. And once again, thank you for always making time. I always looking so cool.
Thank you. That's a big compliment.
Always looking so cool.
I'm trying to rest.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you for
it's
coming.
Nice meeting you. Thank you for the opportunity.
So, my good friend Excel, let me sit down well, because today's topic is about anger management.
Okay.
And I think I need an eyeball to eyeball on this. Now, you see, it doesn't take much to get me angry. I didn't know about you. So could you tell me, what are you someone who gets angry easily, and why?
I think depending on situation, when you say that, what comes to mind is we have to ask questions about personality. It's more likely that a reserved person may not show some level of anger.
A reserved person.
A reserved person. Okay?
Okay.
And the outgoing person will react easily. And that's why you found that at home, is that daddy is hot, mommy is cold, and depending. And they just attract to balance. And this happened unconsciously, where 12 people just marry themselves. And you found that a house where everybody reacts instantly, then the marriage or relationship does not last easily. You know, so personality has a lot to do in that regard. When I mean personality, it depends on is this person by nature like that, or the environment also has contributed to that. For example, a child who grew up in Mushin may be more likely, even is reserved, to react when there's crisis instead of him to be in control of his emotions, because you respond to adversity. That's where they are trained. But somebody is trained to calm down and look at the adversity and strategically now respond to the adversity.
I hope the people in Mushin won't take you up on that.
No, at all. No. They understand, you know. They understand. So personality has a lot to do with that. What you are exposed to, how you are educated, has a lot to do with how you respond to issues.
Yes.
Okay, so we all get angry.
Yes.
Every human being, flesh and blood, gets angry at some point.
Yes.
So it is, while some people just, others
you're able to
let go.
It.
Okay, they let out. So right now, a lot of people in this environment, like yesterday, I experienced a lot of outbursts of frustration, of anger.
And you are still angry.
For different... I'm not angry anymore, John. I have no choice. All right, so a lot of people are angry around us at the moment. Now, what are the usual triggers for different people, you know? And is it justifiable, if I can ask that question, really?
You see, I think the first thing we need to bring to be is we need to look at anger, not necessarily from the negative side of it. And I think that's what we get wrong first.
Okay.
Anger, there's a course I called How to Make Your Anger Sweet.
How to make your anger sweet.
So suddenly in your environment there's so much poverty. I mean, I heard a song by Timi Dakolo says, I believe in Nigeria. And somebody may be doubting Nigeria, but somebody who believes in Nigeria may be looking at the opportunity of how to make it hard. Is angry with seeing people throw being on the floor, and this guy suddenly beginning to tell himself, how do I solve this problem? He creates a company or creates initiative around it, and that is him turning his anger around. Okay? So there are a lot of things, like a question you asked, that things triggered. Transportation in Lagos is something else itself. You know, traffic. I mean, the other day I was in the evening. I mean, a lot of people go through a lot on Tomiland Bridge, and I happened to, pass through Tomiland Bridge around 7 evening.
It's such a long stretch, by the way.
I mean, I begin to wonder what people go through in that. So,
yesterday was exceptionally bad. Yesterday I was tempted to offer people rides.
We're stranded.
But
yeah.
I didn't feel safe.
No, you couldn't.
I didn't feel safe.
That's it.
You
That's
know,
it.
and I felt sorry that I couldn't do anything.
Yeah.
People were looking for transportation.
Yes, yeah.
Loads of them on the
Lots
road.
of them. So imagine somebody now hitting your car from behind. At that point, the frustration of the situation you are makes you react instantly. All of that.
Yes.
I mean, the
That's
workplace.
a quick trigger.
That's a quick trigger. The workplace, people are not raising the salary of staff, but suddenly the rice and beans and transportation has gone up.
So that one is sitting there.
It's sitting right there.
Waiting to be ignited.
And somebody is asking you, we'll have to do your assessment for the month, what's your performance assessment? And he said, performance what? When I'm thinking of other way. So a lot of things around us trigger communication between children, expectation, unspoken expectation, and even spoken expectations.
Yeah.
Triggers a lot of things in that regards of people showing some level of anger, especially in the world we are right now, when there's a lot of, like you said, you are scared of picking someone. You have an idea of what that can happen. And suddenly you make an effort. As you make an effort to pick the person, it just slams your door suddenly, bam. And you're looking, why should I do that again?
Yeah. Okay, so now anger is a given, right? It's how you know,
how you manage it.
How you manage it that matters. So how really do you manage it? Are there any routines?
Yes, the law of routine first, you need to first do a personal assessment on yourself. Do you get angry easily?
Will you be objective enough?
Yes. I mean, being objective is also relative to individuals. For example, if everybody tells you one thing and you disagree with everyone, sometimes you need to check yourself. Could it be you're the only right person among everybody?
Yeah, the one who is
you
toxic.
could also, exactly. You could just go online to do an easy assessment test, which is free online, of your mental state, or to check your anger management, for example, is just right there, and all that. And when you could tell yourself the truth that I have some level of uncontrolled emotions, then you need to check it. Why is this so? There's a root, and that's what I tell people when I try to train people doing coaches and counseling. I say there's a root to the anger problem of a client. There's a root cause. The anger is an expression of something deeper.
Yeah.
For example,
not the obvious.
Not what you see. There's a root cause. So, for example, a child who didn't grow up with the father may have a less or high expectation from men. Suddenly, she's married.
Yeah.
And this outspoken need. Then the man does not understand that she's really looking for a father and to provide what she didn't have as a child.
Yeah.
But he then now relates with this lady just as husband and wife. Then the lady can't even speak I want. Boom, there's an explosion in that home.
Yeah.
So we need to know then what higher professionals do is to now check why is she reacting, why is she having the expectation, why is she saying the husband does not show emotion, why is she saying that the husband can't guide, why is she saying that she can't trust the man, for example. And this is what she's reacting to at home. The same way a man will just come home and he said, I want to make love with my wife. Boom, the guy after 2 minutes has slept off. And the lady is showing some level of anger. She's saying that I don't feel love accepted and his sexual need is not being fulfilled as a person. So there is a deeper reason why people react.
Yeah.
Okay, so you have established from the beginning that anger is not a bad, it's not a negative emotion or feeling.
It's not always the
It's not always, okay. But what anger manifests in the physical a lot of the time is evil, is bad. You talked about somebody getting angry about a deficiency in the environment, and that anger triggers you to begin to think outside of the box and bring some solution. A lot of the case is not like that. Anger isn't a lot of the time channeled towards positive results. Rather, we hear a mother pours hot water on the daughter for just a wife just does this to the husband for
because
just
negative things make the news faster.
You see, you just establish something.
Because there's a phase.
Yes,
you know, if you're angry, then there's rage, then there's... It's...
You see, you just established something very deep. Loads of people don't sit to strategize how to get things done. And what you practice over time becomes a lifestyle. For example,
It becomes a
just a normal thing. For example, listening is not a given. Listening is a practice that becomes a lifestyle.
Yeah.
I'll give an example. If you sit among 8 people and just have a discussion, you found out there's a consistency of interruption.
Yeah.
Okay.
Now, to now be a listener, it must be a deliberate attempt. So, lots of people have not groomed themselves to deliberately manage situations before they react, or to think about it before they react. Okay,
Just
at all. And that's why you see the spontaneous reactions and all of that. Of course, there's something that expects you to, for example, somebody walking now, slap my wife. I may not necessarily want to think about that and to respond.
But you should.
We have to know.
But you should think about that.
Because at that point, what matters is now protection.
Okay.
So somebody a thief coming into your house, and there's a gun right beside you.
Okay.
You don't think, should I carry the
pick
gun
the
or
gun.
not? You first think, how do you protect
your family.
There's a word we call it in psychology. You first think about that. How do you protect your family at the point and all that? But when we are talking deeper now, we are talking about when there's situation, what do you do when you can be in control and all of that.
Yes.
A lot of times we need some level of reflection before reacting. A lot of reflection before reacting. And over time, I have seen this has worked for me. A few days ago, when the property guy told me, he said, you can't use that property. He said it very casually, very derogative language.
Okay.
And yeah, my listening to him, he was not aware that I was angry with that statement. When I left, my colleague were talking. I said, do you see that statement that guy made? I was actually pissed off. But I'll come to him later to address that matter. Then a guy called me again. I said, have you met this guy? I said, I've met him. And he said this particular word to me. Now I said, do you know what? I think both of you need to sit down and talk. Do you know that time, that gap, and the guy speaking to me gave me a better solution. And you know what? Without me reacting, the issue was actually solved. As much as it have not been discussed.
Yeah.
In that regard.
So you have to learn.
Yes.
How to control, manage, react, and all of that, so that anger becomes a positive thing.
That's it.
And when you're confronted with anger, you have to be able to, to wait and say, okay, should I react?
Yeah.
Or should I? Because sometimes you need to react.
Yes.
Like you said.
Yeah,
Yes.
you need to react to make your point. Okay. You need to react to get people moving.
Yeah.
You need to react, to show anger, to, put things right. So that's my understanding.
We're being asked to take our second break.
I'm angry about that.
You're angry about that. And I'm also wondering, just before we go for that break, I'm also wondering why a lot of time we make excuses for people who are in our faces and not making us feel, very appreciated. Or people who get violent say they have anger issues.
Okay.
We'll come back to that.
Don't be angry.
We'll come back.
Let's go on our break now.
Let's take a break. All right, you are still on to Today with John and Helen on PlusTvAfrica, and we are having an amazing time right now with our guest, Adeleye-Samuel. And the subject is anger and anger management. Have you found anything that we've talked about so far useful? Have you found yourself in any of the situations? It's been confirmed today that anger is an emotion that we all feel and that it varies from mild irritation to intense fury and sometimes, unfortunately, rage. And we do know what comes out of it. So our guest is still here and he has more to tell us. John, do you have another question?
Yeah, because I do. Because actually, before you even get to intense fury and rage. Remember last week we talked about anxiety.
Yes.
You know, would anxiety still be part of the lineup? Would excessive anxiety lead to rage and to... Could you link that up for us?
Yes. You see, anxiety can be defined sometimes as some level of fears.
Yes.
And then I would use the situation of Putin to look at the matter. Putin is afraid that his nation can one day be taken up by these Western people. And he can obviously see NATO and other parties strategizing one day, and it can happen. The fear of taking his own nation is driving him to fight the enemy. Or to kill the enemy that is very close.
Has led him to fury, to rage.
And to react to that because of what he could say.
Okay.
So, but in most cases, you found out that anxiety does not necessarily mean reality.
Okay.
You get it now? That you have a fear that the fuel will be 300 naira does not mean what happened.
Why are you
That's why
going
you're
there?
seeing panic buying. Just to connect with our real situation. You know, I could see panic buying and suddenly ask, what happened? Everybody's not buying that way. And that is anxiety.
Pump price will go
up. It will go up. But suddenly you walk into the fuel station now and you buy your fuel.
And it's still the same price.
And the same price. Unfortunately, some people are bought for 500 naira per liter. The same way.
And you know, the same analogy, we use it in public speaking. You know, that before you go up on stage, you carry so much luggage. Will they laugh? Will I fall? Will I sweat? Will they see me that I'm nervous? And by the time you're delivering your speech, you find that none of those fears
is real.
Meanwhile, you've worked yourself up so much and you've ruined your presentation.
Yeah.
So it will be connected to that. So dealing with anxiety is also dealing with unnecessary exposure that will have happened. So most time we then need to ask people, when you see them reacting, I said this person is an angry person, what is the cause, which could be anxiety?
Which could be anxiety.
Well,
that's the link.
All right, John mentioned it earlier on, and I think I said something like, you know, a lot of Nigerians are angry. And you really have to be careful so you don't step on the wrong foot. And that's why anger and its management is so key to us this morning. If someone were saying, okay, I'm watching this show now, I need to get some answers to how I can check anger in my environment, the family first, the society outside there, the workplace and all of it. You know, the step, the ABC step to take. You said we should check ourselves. Are there other things that we should do?
I think I will use this story a friend told me to describe the situation. I think first you must be able to understand your environment and to understand what they are going through. It's very key. Understanding of people help you to let go easily. A friend told me that one day he was driving on the road and there was a commotion between somewhere, but he collided with another car. And he came out, he was in a rage, he was shouting, he was doing all of that. And the guy came down, looked at the car, and he told him, he said, "You're a frustrated graduate." The guy entered his car, and he just zoomed off.
Who said to who that you were?
The other guy said to my friend that you're a frustrated graduate. And he entered his car, and he moved.
That's enough to give him...
And he said he went into his own car. He was there for a few minutes, and he thought about it. That really, I'm a frustrated guy.
Maybe he's right.
Yes. The guy was absolutely right in his assessment of my friend.
That you're just a frustrated person.
So you need to understand the situation and the people per time.
Yeah.
And that allows you to manage first the situation.
Yes.
A guy who is hungry, he will be angry.
Angry man is an
You get it
angry
now?
man.
And he doesn't have money in his pocket. I then need to know that this guy is not in a good place mentally and emotionally. That now give me some room of how to manage this person. You get it now? I think that is very important. And it's also very important for us to go every day with some level of kindness and love. And in that place of kindness and love, we are against judgment. People easily judge. You get it now? But with kindness and love, it first coming, and you may not necessarily need to give excuse for the reaction, because you know this person. And that's why if I come in and everybody is frowning here, it's more likely that I'm weary and I'll be watching.
Okay.
But when they smile, it's an energy that goes
Positive
around.
energy.
A friend was taking a walk somewhere abroad and on a video call, and she said, they said in this particular town that when you walk around, you must greet and say, hello, hi. So the person walking behind didn't greet, say, no, this is not from this town. That kindness is more likely that if they step on each other, because they show themselves some level of gesture, they will smile. But somewhere on Eko Idumota, when people are much and you know that you can step on yourself, if you step on me, what you know, you can be fine right there. So,
Okay, you see, let me take you back a bit, because you know when you talked about the frustrated man, you told us the frustrated man story. I just thought to myself, let's take a drive. Let's just take a drive around town, you know, in Lagos.
Yes.
Because this is where we are. You see a lot of rage being displayed on the roads before you even move near to defensive, offensive driving, defensive, whatever, all manner of driving. Is it that we are an angry people, or are we a frustrated people?
to use the
Because
word,
everybody's on edge.
yes, to use the word we're angry people is
And yet they say we are
could be very negative, you know, and it's stereotype in a way. But maybe we should use the word we're frustrated. A lot of things. Fella said that suffering and smiling.
Yes.
You know, and that smiling is a makeup. It's not really true.
Yeah.
You're very right.
You get it now. And
You're very right.
I think most Nigerians are hopeless. As we're discussing in this, I just sent a message on WhatsApp and I asked, do you believe in Nigeria? And that story is like someone has been raped, cheated many times, and you say, do you trust me? When there's loss of hope and promise not fulfilled. So the Nigerians are frustrated because they can't meet their need. And a healthy man in his 50s is afraid that if he's 60...
No, that's a general statement. Don't say Nigerians are frustrated. Let's say...
No, most Nigerians are frustrated.
Most?
Yeah, most.
When you have an 8 over 10.
Yes, you get it now.
8 out of 10.
You just described driving in Lagos. I'll give you a typical example.
Do I look like a frustrated man?
No, we will know when somebody hits your
Different
car.
levels of frustration.
I like it. There's different there's types of frustration.
Oh yes, there are different levels.
And you know, this one happened somewhere around like a guy. I was driving, so this guy ran into me. I had this shield on my car, and the guy ran into the shield. And when he came down, he said, "No, I hit his car." Of course, his car was dented. It was one that ran into me.
Yeah, one of those people.
And you know, I do that to protect yourself, you know. And the guy said, "No, I have to pay and all of that." And I was looking at it for what?
Doesn't know the traffic.
And guess what? The guy was an
Driving
Uber driver, so he dropped the people in his car. And I wasn't at the point I told him, you know, I was being gentle with him first. The way that no worry, let us do this and let me go. I'm going somewhere, and I don't mind to just say to just go and all that, because I know at the point when I saw that he was claiming that I was the wrong driver, you know, who hit his car. But I stood my ground and said, "What do you mean? Where is your car?
You hit me
Where is
from
my
behind.
car? Do you see that? Are you not the one that ran into this?" Then what he did at the point now say, "Egbon, that's what you use. Please, you know, I've not been out since, you know, I'm just coming out for the
Any
first
money.
time and all that. Please, just help me.
Yeah,
You know,
just
you
taking
look okay.
his
Just give
frustration
me
out.
some." Do you see that now? He's taking his frustration. So we see this frustration everywhere. People take it home and all of that. But we need then the solution based on the question you asked, that
Yes.
we need then now to breathe in and breathe out. And what does
So
that
when
mean?
we lose it,
Yes, you need
have to be able to control
because it's an energy
Yeah.
itself, and you need to sometimes calm down, or people calm you down. You know, and sometimes you need to take a back seat and look at the matter critical. And sometimes when you can't, you need to seek for help. You need to call a friend, you need to call someone, and you need to even pour out. Because the greatest problem we have in this situation is that we don't actually speak out our frustration. We keep it in. And one day, boom, there's an explosion beyond what you can handle. So we need to speak out. We need to look for someone you speak
You have to be able to rein yourself in at the right time.
Very critical.
Because I remember a few months ago, our security men got into a fight with somebody who they claim wanted to steal something and all of that. And before we knew it, they all gathered on one particular person who was busy. One of them then went and carried a huge rock and was going to slam it. I was just upstairs watching, and when it finished, I had to call the security man and said, listen, do you know that within a space of 15 minutes, you people would have gotten yourself into serious trouble?
Yeah, lifetime jail.
That rock that you picked up, if you had hit that man on the head, it may have resulted in something even worse.
You know what I do as a lifestyle in that case, if I can handle things, I try to intervene. And I'll say this, and you do that logically. You have to assess the matter.
Yes.
I've seen, like we do in Lagos now, where somebody wants to commit suicide and they will see picture. Somebody is taking picture to be doing the video.
Yes.
We need to learn how to intervene.
When to step in.
And because sometimes right in front of you, you could just see somebody pass on. You know, I was somewhere one day and these young men were doing their work and suddenly, boom, there was a fight. And the guy slammed the guy on the ground and he could have hit him on the rock. You, by just eating or shouting or any form of help, could just solve the problem. But I see that we live in the world where, let me save my life, it is not my problem. And there's somebody loses life. And sometimes for us to park and intervene also can just help. One day I was driving, this happened right in front of me, like it was very early in the morning, it was still dark. And a lady ran, I heard a shout. And just beside, they were taking a walk early in the morning. And I slowed down my car. Two ladies ran in front of my car. I stayed on the express road. And guess what? Other car waited. This lady were being chased and there was an attempt to rob them by a miscreant who was around.
Okay.
And that was their saving grace. And the guy, and I won't forget what the guy parked behind me said, if you didn't wait,
stop.
I would not wait.
Would not have waited.
And the lady were just saying thank you. We know it's dangerous, but sometimes we may just be saving a life. And that's where anger is. You may just need to intervene. When you see there's an explosion, maybe there's a fight, maybe there's an argument that is going beyond normal, you may just need to calm them down at that point.
This one you're talking about intervention.
Yes.
You are an expert.
Yes.
You have had to deal with all kinds of emotional matters.
Yes.
Sometimes you intervene and you run into trouble. You know, people are fighting, you want to intervene, some accident happen, then you become the focus, the victim with the police and the law and all of it. And that makes a lot of us to just mind
you see, humans are run on the OS of selfishness most times. And it goes back to what I said before, some level of kindness and love. And if we played around and you found that was your child in some level of argument, we react differently. But sometimes you see some people walk past a lady who was hit by a car just for them to come and know after 2 days that is somebody close to them, sister or something.
Yeah, all right.
So we need to buy in kindness that makes us to react positively into life. And you see, if we like it or not, there will be fake currency. There will be issues of life, and all of that. But maybe what we need to do now, how do I intervene such that I don't get myself into bigger problem? That is also not another technique that we can learn. However, just by stopping by shows that you feel for them, and that's what we call empathy.
So it's important. It is
very important. It's very important.
Before you ask that question, John, Excel, I need to know how grievous, how serious is this anger issue?
You see, for me, I define, if as a matter of fact, I define anger as an eruption of your emotions, an eruption. And it's like when there's
and danger to self and danger to
everybody environment. As a matter of fact, anger destroys than what you think the outcome is going to be. And I've seen anger destroy generations. Today as we speak, the average Ukraine citizen and the child they're going to be born is going to be born some level of anger because of the trauma.
Because of what is, yeah.
Yes, and they will hate the Russians, which is their brother. Don't forget, they're brothers forever. As we speak, in the Israel and the Palestinian, there's anger raging, which has been for ages.
Even in families.
In families and all of
communities.
That. You found that some relatives who don't bear each other's surname because of anger. And I've seen in the therapy room how anger just show up and it begins to destroy generation upon generation. There's a cycle of repeat of that.
Yeah.
So it is a spiritual energy sometimes that you need to be deliberate about to do a reversal, because it's just going to spread and it's going to be a circle. You know, a friend once visited Turkey, and he said that the individual just get angry easily. Then I have to take back to know the history and the story of how they have also seen war and all of that.
Yeah,
you know, and these things just take over our
It
lifestyle
also
and
calls to
behavior.
mind the Kigali.
Yes, it's the
experience.
crisis. Yeah, the crisis.
You go to Kigali now, they don't even want to talk about it.
Yes, the South African will say
Yeah.
Zelovibia. But we need to understand the story of the South Africans and to understand the way they react and they behave. Despite they look more comfortable with some African nations, but you see a lot of high rape, high robbery, you know, killings. Why is it so when they have everything available for them? The anger is just right
Let's
there.
switch. Did you see the match last night?
No, I didn't.
You didn't see the match last
No,
night?
I didn't.
We held the Black Stars
Okay.
to a goalless draw.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
good.
Anyway, congratulations. We were able to
Congratulations.
hold them, so on Tuesday we'll...
Yes.
But what I want to ask is that sometimes, you know, we go to the stadium, our team loses, then mayhem is unleashed. The whole place will damage. Is that anger or bad behavior?
We can tend that to more bad behavior.
foolishness.
Okay. I like the way I said foolishness. You know, and
The referee didn't give us that penalty.
and
anger.
you see, sometimes you could say bad behavior, you can say anger, because in some cases, some people are so excited that they also jump into the stadium, and sometimes they even steal or do all sorts. You know, same behavior
situation.
by, you know, going against the policies that has been given in stadium. But in some case, you can see some range where people get so angry and destroy things.
Yes.
Some will burn things down. Some will do all of that.
And you wonder,
Escobar was shot.
just because the opponent scored against you, you have damaged the whole city?
Yes. Escobar was shot because
Yes.
of the longo he
Yes,
got
yes,
himself.
yes.
And that is some level of anger, and somebody was waiting to make sure he bring him down, and he waited till he comes from the World Cup to his own country and it's gone him down.
Okay.
So
Okay,
it goes
guys.
a different way.
Okay, guys.
Yes.
So there's positive anger,
Yes.
there's negative anger.
That's it.
And negative anger is what we should be concerned about.
Yes, sir.
So how do we avoid it? As a last question, quickly.
You see,
please.
the first is you need to, the first law is know thyself, know thyself, know thyself. Know thyself in the sense that do I react easily? Am I in control of things? How do you first you need to do that? And when you know yourself, then you also know thy situation, you know, around you. You need to know the situation around you. Thirdly is that you need to also know the people around you per time. But lastly, this one I use a lot. I said, know your personal laws. Know your personal laws is that everybody have unwritten laws. And the same way as religious people say God has commandment, you have your own commandment. And how do you know your commandment? Easily to know your values. For example, I'm very big in respect and love. And if somebody walk into and disrespect you, naturally I'm going to react. Or I'm going to just talk about it. So it is just me, and everybody know about me.
disciplined.
Love. I just love. I believe in unconditional love. I just do it naturally.
Is that the same as agape?
Yes, it is.
Yeah,
That's
it could be
unconditional.
agape, you know, just unconditional, you know. And sometimes me also, I'm a disciplined person. So if everybody who is not disciplined is around me, I'm irritated easily. I like things being organized. You know,
get
I look
angry.
at detail and all of that. So when you now know your personal laws, I do say to people, you need to guide yourself based on your personal laws, where you go, where you stay.
Yeah.
And it's sometimes you have to inform other people. But most importantly,
Right.
you need now to, when everybody violate that, you need to now to be in control of that situation to either walk away or stay.
I love you for this. You know, it just struck something in my head, because I've always said to me that Helen Odele, there's a limit, there's a line that I do not allow anyone to cross.
Yeah.
It's my personal space.
Yeah.
And if I don't allow you to go beyond that space, then I can't get so angry and react negatively.
Okay.
So I'm good at that, right? That's good.
You know the line you can't cross now.
It's
We
not
can't
to
go
do
any further. It's
anymore.
time to go.
Thank you, SL.
Thank you.
I thought I was selfish. Now I know,
We
I'm
can't
doing
cross
well.
this line.
Thank you so much, SL. Always a delight, having
Thank
you
you.
on this show.
Well, thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so
much.
very
It's a
much
privilege.
for helping us with the tips on anger and anger management.
Thank you for the
on
privilege.
today's show.
So,
Wow.
excellent. I'm going to call you again.
I'm always available for this house.
As usual, I know you.
Thank
will
you,
answer
Thank
our
you.
call. So now it's time to change over, switch over, change the momentum, like they say.
Yeah.
Let's fast track now, and let's invite our Keep Fit coach to help us stay alive with some exercise.
And after that, of course, if you're with us every week on this show, you know that Pharaoh is also here, and she has a guest today, Pharaoh Shonuga, and they will be looking at emotional intelligence, and Kim Ofonabo is our guest. I think her surname is the harmonizer. The nickname is the harmonizer. So let's see how much of harmonizing she will be doing with Pharaoh this morning. But before then, let's go to the gym if you're ready.